First one without mugs. First one without mugs.
I don't know. This could be jinx, though. I don't know. Hey, the good news is, although we don't have mugs, I still have rye. So that'll be okay. I'm Dave.
I'm Sean.
And this is Barstools
and Bandtalk. It's tonight, the complete music bucket list. So we're trying something new. Mm-hmm. We've met some people through the course of this crazy show, and this is going to be, it's going to be challenging because we're going to have a number of people on the feed, but it's going to be exciting because we're going to be doing some stuff with these folks over the next little bit. We have been texting them, but we just got to know them pre-recording here, and we're really excited.
So we brought on about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, exclusive interview. I can't speak today, too much rye. Exclusive interview with Dave Wanless from Svengali, who signed with this company, RFL. And then we brought on another band called Sphere, P-H-E-R-E-A-R, and they are also with RFL. So we said we want to get to the heart of the matter, find out who these guys are. And they have a feature artist that they're going to talk about today, too. So it's going to be a lot of fun. First time we've had 5 folks on our Zoom program, and we're excited about it. We're literally right across the world now, Pittsburgh and California, and we're everywhere. So let's bring on John and Doug and Jeff. No, maybe not. Who am I missing? And Jeff.
And we're all kind of here, boys.
We're just waiting for Jeff to pop up. He should be here momentarily. There he is.
All righty. So welcome, gentlemen. Welcome. We were just doing the intro, and what we said is that we would we'd allow you guys to say who you are because we've got to know you guys over the last week or so. But you come very highly recommended. We had our interview with Dave Wanless from Svengali, and so John, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing?
Okay, guys. I'm the Jon Marchewka, the CEO of RFL Records. A little bit of background about the label is I actually started with a company called Rock in the Fast Lane Company, which I put together in 2013, and it was memorabilia, hard rock and heavy metal T-shirts, CDs, and things like that. I built the website, and I started to make a lot of connections with some of the bigger label people, Frontiers Records, AFM Records. I was selling their products, and I got to make a connection with the PR guys at those labels, and I got on the promo list. So I kind of started doing interviews and reviews for all their albums, and got a little further into it. And I met my partner, Jeff Westlake, who's in Hydrogen, who's on the RFL Records label. Jeff hit me up with a message at work one day out of the clear blue, and he said, "You should start a record label." And I said, "Jeff, man, I know absolutely nothing about that." I said, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. That was 2016. And, Jeff and I, just kind of started working, with different things, making connections and moving forward a little bit. I signed a few local bands. And we actually started to do fairly well with them. The one band who's no longer on the label, we had opening for Steel Panther here in Pittsburgh at Stage AE, 4,000 or 5,000 people. So the guys were doing well.
Wow.
And eventually, I made a connection with Chip Ruggieri, who owns Chipster PR, the PR guy for Judas Priest for 23 years right now. I worked with Chip for 3 months, 4 months, something like that. Learned a little about the business, and I figured, if you're going to learn about this business, that's the guy you want to learn from.
Yeah.
And it just kind of rolled on from there. I brought Sam on. I was running the label by myself for about 1.5 years. I brought Sam on, and we kind of connected through an interview that I did. She was doing PR for a guitarist in Florida named Mikey Cunningham. And, Sam and I kind of hit it off, and, and I offered her, to work with RFL, and we kind of probably for about a year just did a lot of PR, made a lot of connections, and put that together, and finally it's blossomed into where we are now with Lior Stein out of he's my publicist in Israel right now. Lior and I work a lot, press releases and things like that. And eventually, we brought Doug on to work social media. And it's just kind of blossomed from there. I mean, we have a great family here. I like to call it a family because the relationships that we build. I mean, we built this label on relationships, and we wanted to build it as a family type atmosphere, right, to where it's not just artist and label on each side. It's artist and label together. We work well with each other. We talk to the guys all the time. They talk to us, and we want to keep it like that. I mean, we want artists to be musicians. We want them to be artists. We don't want them to be, guys that are worrying about, hey, what business move are we making today, or what do we need to learn outside of this? We just want to grow. We want to have fun. We want to do something different in this industry. We want to open up the doors for, an industry that's not, so heavily based on, labels, doing what they want to do and telling artists what they want them to do, instead of just having, the artists come in and be themselves, come in, just do what they do, play great music. And, and we built something together. I mean, we're looking forward to a, big future with our guys, and, and I can honestly say I love the guys on his label, personally. I mean, we're all friends, we talk all the time, and it's just it's a great group of people, and I'm proud of everything that we've done so far. I mean, and I'm really proud of the people that are associated with us, because it means a lot.
John, I want to ask you a quick question. So, and again, we're going to hear from Jeff here shortly, who's one of your newest signees. So you're offering like a full service program, like you're actually like artist management, getting, the product recorded and distribution, that's what you're doing for them?
What we do is the artists come with us with the material, and we handle the PR, we handle the distribution. We work now with Amp Distribution, who is partnering with Alliance Distribution, who's the biggest distribution company of media in the United States, and they also hit so many different places, all of Europe, Japan, Australia, Canada, South America. We offer that. I partnered with Sound Republica, who's a South Korean digital distribution company, who handles 5 digital providers up there. And we offer that, but we also offer, we work radio for these guys. We're eventually, we're trying to ease ourselves into a little bit of booking, but we handle kind of a little bit of everything, management, sure, PR, just much as we could do. That's what we like to do.
Right on.
So my follow-up question is, where the hell were you 20 years ago when I needed you, when I was coming out? Because the funny thing is well, and I remember the way we used to do it. It was tough. It was the classic. You would go and you do showcases to these, guys that really didn't really know music, but they knew, the ledger sheet and the stuff that they were signing up here in Canada. Now, don't get me wrong, Svengali, who signed with you guys, was a huge signing back in the day, but a guy like me, man, it was like, you're out in the middle of nowhere in Halifax, Nova Scotia. God love it. We love it out here. But, a weird thing happened in the early 90s. Nirvana hit, and a label called Sub Pop Records came out here and signed every band that was together for 2 weeks, and rock pretty much died here. And
right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's unfortunate at that time, to have a band like Svengali, for example. I mean, those guys were right on the cusp of really exploding, and it's just it's just like they say, timing is everything, and it's in that situation it definitely was. It definitely was. But yeah, I totally understand that, man. I totally understand it.
Yeah, well, like I say, I'm gonna dust off the spandex, John, and start getting the band back together.
Yes, I'm trying to grow my hair.
But in all seriousness, yeah. So in all seriousness, we did the interview with Dave. Spoke very highly of you guys, and then I somehow got in a thread with Doug, and Doug and I start texting. It was last weekend, and we start talking about mutual admiration for Kiss, and they start, and we knew the Fear guys because we interviewed Patrick and Chris.
Yep.
And they were like, "Man, you gotta connect with these guys. They're doing some really cool stuff." So out of the blue, Doug, and I'll get you to weigh in. He sends me Jeff's. I think it was a live concert from just before all the nonsense started. And again, I said to Dave, I said, "Where was this friggin' guy 20 years ago? We were looking for singers."
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? He was the real deal.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't see him, so hopefully he's blushing. No, seriously, man. And then Jeff and I got in the thread. And we just started talking about music that was just it blew my. It was so refreshing to talk to somebody that got it. But before we get Jeff in here, just talk about how you guys got involved with him.
This one was really cool. This one was really cool because Sam was messaging me, and this was for actually probably a few months. And Sam said, "John," she said, you gotta check out Jeff Carlson." You know, we were kind of like, you know, it just got to be real busy at that time, and you know, but finally, you know, I finally got through, and I started to listen to Jeff, and I heard the song "Never Be Another You," and it was just, you know, it's a power ballad, but the guy just absolutely delivers. I mean, every song that I heard, and I think I listened to it, you know, I probably listened to all his stuff probably 5 or 6 times in the process, and that was it. And I said, Sam, I said, let's go. I said, we gotta get Jeff, and let's get him signed. You know, it's the guy I want to work with. You know, the music is just, you know, it's amazing. I mean, start to finish, everything's well written, put together. You know, it's just it kicks ass and it's melodic at the same time. I mean, what more can I say?
Thank you, John.
Well, and Jeff, just to weigh in here, and I get a bit of a slap back. I'm sorry, but I watched your video last weekend, and what a throwback! I mean, cool band, cool tunes. You guys were playing in a pretty cool club. So the first thing I asked you was, who the hell were your influences? Because you get a voice that I can't put my finger on in terms of sound.
Oh, thanks, man. You guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. My influences range from early Paul Stanley, pre-2010, to Steve Perry, to John Bon Jovi. Guys I grew up on, those are my heroes. Dave Meniketti, he's another one.
Oh, nice. Yeah. And so in terms of your writing, I mean, I couldn't put my finger on that either. I mean, you know, your band is rock solid.
Thank you.
But, you know, how long have you been working on those tunes?
Well, funny you should ask. These songs I've had these songs since '98. I met Corey and Robbie, my guitar player and my bass player and guitar player, lead guitar player, in '98, and we started originally called Angel Park, and then we changed to Liquid Sky, and then in 2008 or 16, I got a distribution deal through. I don't know if you guys know who Mike Bailey is, Brett Michaels' drummer, his solo band. Well, he has a label he started with Pete Ebick, who was Brett's lead guitar player for a solo band. And they had a thing called Potomac Records, and they used the Orchard for distribution. But it was just basically a distribution deal. It wasn't like, you know, I mean, I fronted all the money to take care of, well, actually my wife did, but I gotta give her credit, you know?
Absolutely.
But no, we've had these songs like Never Be Another You, I wrote that actually by myself in 94 before I even met these guys. But then in 98 when we got together, all these songs that you're hearing, minus a couple of them, were written by all of us at that time. And we basically went back over them and we fine-tuned them to where, okay, take this out, add this, whatever, to make it more commercial in today's world, not so big. So, and a lot of that's the production we get too. So yeah, that's the goal. You know, we got a ton of influences, man, from Journey to Fleetwood Mac to Def Leppard. I mean, you name it.
Well, you can't go wrong with any of those ones, Jeff. So would you say you're the primary writer in the band now, or?
Well, yes and no. I mean, yes, I write all the lyrics. Robbie, my lead guitar player, he is dynamite at arrangements. So, like last night, we worked on an old song of mine that I wrote a while back, and I did a real good demo of it. But again, we all threw in our 2 cents to make it go somewhere and be what we want it to be. So that's how, the end result is what you hear of all of us throwing in our thoughts on how to make it work. I come up with lyrics, and Robbie helps me with melodies, because he used to be a singer of a band called Holy Soldier back in the early 90s, I think it was, in Hollywood. So, yeah, pretty much it.
Yeah, we covered that too. And I said, yeah, I'm a big Striper fan. And Jeff's like, oh, yeah, we know Oz and Robert. It's like, good for you. Right? But it's just so cool because I listened to it, and it's such a, I don't want to even say throwback, because there was a lull in this type of music, but it's back now. I mean, it's back stronger than ever. Doug and I were talking about a lot of this over the last week or so. These Monsters of Rock cruises that are going on now, and different sorts of things. And I liken it to guys like us have kids who grew up listening to our hair metal stuff, and now the kids love it, and it's a resurgence, and it's really kind of taking it on. So let's get Doug's 2 cents in here as he's drinking that wonderful.
Yeah,
Canadian
before he gets
beer.
fucking loaded, we can't hear him anymore. It's Canadian beer now. Be careful.
Well, see, sorry to disappoint you guys, but I actually have a local brew from some fellow brewery in Palm Springs, and it's pretty friggin' good. No complaints here.
Outstanding.
Yeah, so try Frank Cannon's beer.
Oh, listen, yes. Now there you go. If anybody got that, that's a Tesla name drop. Jeff, you and I are gonna get along great in this interview. Trust me, bro. So Doug, you and I have been sending copious sort of text back and forth on different sorts of things. And you handle the social media, and I will say, killer job, because every morning I've got up since I met you, I've had some great threads, and they're all relevant and they're good. They're not just sort of gooey shit, is the only way I can describe it, right? So kudos to you.
I appreciate that compliment. I do. This has become kind of an obsession for me. Anyone in my house that you'd ask would say probably the same thing. This started for me with Jeff, and I have to go back like 20 years to the first time I saw Angel Park at, I believe they opened for Pretty Boy Floyd at a club called Pinkies. And I saw them after they had changed the name to Liquid Sky, and I just kind of lost touch with him until about a year ago. They were opening for Bang Tango and Faster Pussycat at BAM. And I said, this guy, I listened to a little clip. I'm like, this guy sounds familiar. He said, oh, fuck it. I texted him. I'm like, are you Jeff Carlson? Is Angel Park? And he's like, yep. And I'm like, that's fucking where. Because they had a single that the local station Comp in Vegas was playing on a homegrown show, and the song was called "Think I'm in Love." I still bug the shit out of Jeff every day to put that song out again, don't I?
Yeah.
Hey, I need to get a copy of that.
So
it's basically the same song as one of my other ones, just in a different key.
I think I've seen him now 4 times, and so I just started. I'm like, you know what? This guy's this good. Everybody needs to know about him. So no record company affiliation, nothing. As a fan, I'm like, I'm throwing his shit out there. They're gonna know who the fuck he is.
Right
Pretty
on.
much.
Well, that's what you need now today. You mean this is good on you, Jeff, because I mean to have this kind of support from folks who
I'm very lucky.
and I presume Sam's the same way. I'm kind of sad that we didn't have her on tonight, but I get the impression that people believe in what you're doing, brother. And I think we're gonna try.
Thank you. Yeah.
We're going to try and get some listener support out here on the East Coast of Canada for you as well.
That'd be great.
Guess, listen, we're just excited, to hear everything that you folks are doing. I want to know where you are, Jeff. So I know, Doug, you're in California. John, you're over in Pittsburgh. Are you in California too, Jeff? Or?
No, I'm in Las Vegas.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So where can people hear your stuff right now?
Oh, well, you can go to my website, www.jeffcarlsonband.com, or honestly, we're all over. We're on John's label on RFL Records. All you got to do is look for artists and click down, and it's got all my links on there too. So I mean, we're on YouTube. We're everywhere, man.
I understand that RFL stands for really fucking loud. Is that right?
What? I couldn't hear you.
RFL stands for really fucking loud.
Everybody's deaf on that, but that's the truth.
I'm just guessing because I'm.
Let me just add that you can also hear Jeff on. You guys familiar with Ron Keel's Streets of Rock?
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot about that. Yeah.
I didn't forget.
Right. That's why I have it.
I'm just so you guys know, I'm a few in, so I'm probably going to be talking a lot, even when I'm not supposed to. But yeah,
it's all right, roll, man.
So, if you guys listen to that show, it's been a couple weeks since we've actually featured one of our artists on there, but our commercial is on there, and it's Jeff playing in the background. It's Jukebox Hero while Ron's talking about the label. It's pretty damn cool.
Right on.
So now, how would you enlist the gentleman?
Have you guys heard that yet?
Sorry about that. How would you guys enlist a guy like Ron Keel? Is it because you had to go and, I guess, pitch him or pitch his people on what you guys are doing, or did you just pick up on it, or how did it work?
To be honest with you, I asked him to help us out. I've known Ron since about 2006. And I just said, dude, I just got enlisted for this record company, and I don't know shit about what I'm doing because I'm a fan. I don't play any instruments. I don't know anything about the business. Can you help me out? And he's like, if you can set aside 15 minutes to actually talk to me, I will. So through the conversation, I'm like, I mentioned Jeff, and he goes, I freaking love Carlson. And I'm like, how the hell do you know who he is? He had already heard Jeff. So basically, and we have the most amazing artists. I mean, the shit you hear on the radio, it doesn't even compare to what our guys do. But Ron's like, you know what? I'm definitely on board. So this is some cool stuff.
Right on.
That's very cool. And I mean, Ron Keel, for anybody here that, that is in our genre would know Ron Keel through Keel. But he's sort of reinvented himself, I guess, in a way. He's kind of not quite the same Ron Keel of old. What's it now? Rock and roll? Was it rock and roll or heavy metal outlaw or heavy metal cowboys? What's his tag that he's doing now?
Metal cowboy. He does a lot of. It was his newest album is all Southern rock covers, and it's so badass. You got to hear it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right on. So now,
South by South Dakota, just to give him the little plug right there.
Right on, and tell him we said hi from Halifax.
Yeah,
so John, now I sent you a text and I said, so how the heck are you finding your talent? How does that, and you kind of gave me a little bit of a what, but just for everybody that's watching, how do you guys source these guys? Because again, You know, a guy like Jeff, you don't see a guy like Jeff out in our parts. It just doesn't happen. I play with a guy that's very close to Jeff in terms of you know, talent level and whatnot, but they're 1 in 100. So how do you find these folks?
It's funny. It's just you know, just like a passion of ours. I mean, we all connect together. You know, I've been doing this, you know, really, you know, as far as like a talent search, I like to even think for 30 years now, because my brother and I, when we used to, you know, when we started, you know, listening to this, I mean, we were hardcore. I mean, we were finding, you know, like White Lion, you know, we had their first album before anybody knew who they were. And I was listening to Bon Jovi and at the end of '83. I mean, it's just, you know, listening to that stuff and searching for, you know, bands on the internet. You know, we get artists that submit things to us. You know, Doug and I and Lior, I mean, we send things to each other all the time, and we kind of
it's 24/7.
It's
John's
ridiculous. I mean,
check out these guys. These guys are from St. Louis. Their first album came out in '86. He's got the whole. I'm like, how have I never heard of these people? He's got some obscure stuff that he's thrown at me, and I'm like, whoa.
Well, I've been on the threads, and you've been sending me some really cool stuff that I've obviously never heard before. And Jeff was one of the first ones. And then you mentioned, and you can't say yet, but you got a couple of big signings coming up. But my line to John was, and he came back, his answer was really interesting. I said, you know, you're kind of doing a lot of stuff. Like for me, I'm in the car, Hair Nation, 39, man. On Sirius, doesn't move. I mean, I'm an old school. And John's line, yeah, me too, but wouldn't it be great if they played some of the new stuff? And it's kind of like, okay, so what's your background? He starts saying like the sleaze rock, that, you know, the stuff that Dave and I grew up listening to.
Yeah.
So, you know, how are these artists being accepted now? Because it's like, it just seems like this whole genre is making a comeback.
I think it's really well. I mean, you know, what's funny is like the guys that we have signed, you know, some of the other people that, you know, we're friends with and we talk to, you know, their kids are listening to it. And like, you know, there was a couple of bands we were looking at, and I sent it to Doug, and he had his, Doug, it was your daughter that liked the one band, right? I mean, we kind of like, we share it with the, you know, with the younger crowd and a lot of different people just to kind of see what kind of reaction we get, you know, and we know that we like it, but we also look at, you know, how is this band going to do out there? I mean, is it going to be something to where, you know, just because we like them, you know, they're not going to get any radio play. You know, we look at a lot of different factors. I mean, number one, we have to like the music.
Yep.
You know, we have battles with Lior because he's a he's a big extreme metal guy.
Oh,
and,
no.
You know, he likes all that. You know, and I sent him like Cookie Monster gifts because of the vocals, and Doug and I talk about it all the time. You know, we love the guy, but you know, it's just one of those things. You know, it's you know, we welcome that. You know, we want to have people that like you know, different things. You know, and I kind of think that's why we you know, we get along so well, because we appreciate, you know, each other's differences. But you know, man, does it help out that Doug likes the same shit I do, though, man? Because
it's a good point.
All the time.
It's a very valid point, but someone like Jeff should be super excited about that, because if you have, you know, folks that are working on your label or on your record company who have that much belief, and I'm telling you, man, I'm fucking 4,000 miles away, and I can hear the belief in their voice in you, and that's super powerful.
I'm very
because,
thankful.
and you
Big
should
time.
be, man, because I mean, to have that kind of support behind you.
Well, I got to give a shout out. Yeah, I got to give a shout out to Sam Bone. I wish he was on here because, you know, when I was signed to my other label, Atomic, she was championing me as well and helping me out, you know, and I said to her before, I said, hey man, why don't you send my stuff to John over at RFL? And she's like, oh yeah, okay, well, and then, you know, look, as luck would have it, last December we actually hooked up, and thank God, you know.
That's the point, Jeff. That's a really interesting point, because when we talked to Dave and we talked to Patrick referred Svengali to you guys, did he not?
He did. Patrick and I are really good friends. I mean, he you know, we talk all the time, you know, and and we kind of we get into like some of the deeper stuff. I mean, the background, and he told me that he was listening to Svengali. He saw him in the early days, and I knew who they were. I really liked the band, and I thought they were fantastic. Even back in the day, and it's just we kind of hooked up. We started talking, and Dan and Andy Frank and Dave Wanless, we did some conference calls together, and man, that was it. That was I like to say pretty much every signing has been an easy one. I mean, because if you like the music and you want these guys and you want to work with them, it's a, and you talk to them and meet them and see what kind of people they are. I mean, it's that's another thing that we look for. I mean, we look for good people. I really think we have. I really do.
Well, John, to me, your conviction is coming through. And that's what I think is the most interesting part about this whole thing. You only want to work with who you want to work with. Therefore, you're going to get behind and believe in them and support them. And that to me is a real cool. To me, it's just different. I never seen. It's not. You can't be about the almighty dollar all the time. If you don't believe in it, well, then you're not going to be able to sell it anyhow. Let's be honest.
That's what it is for me as a, and this. The only point of view I have from this business so far is as a fan. And John and I started sending him, what do you think of these guys? This was before John made anything official. And man, I'm like, I feel like I've known this guy forever.
Well, it's good that we.
When I was in high school, I lived about 20 minutes from him, and we never met back then, ever.
Right.
Well, and the neat thing about what you guys are doing, and again, I'm super excited that we met you guys, and we want to continue doing some stuff with you and highlighting some your artists as they're coming up. But you mentioned Jeff. Jeff opens for Bang Tango and Pretty Boy Floyd. For me, it's refreshing to hear that because before you guys were talking about Oak Island, and I was going, yawn, Oak Island. But you know what? I take that for granted. You guys probably take for granted some of the rock stuff that you see. And for a guy like Dave and I, Svengali was the first band that we got to see that was doing anything remotely close to what you guys get to see all the time. So for us, it's super exciting. We're almost little kids, little fans, but it's like a label that's putting this stuff out is so cool.
Yeah. And
then, Doug, you go and you send me that video of Jeff last weekend, and I'm going like, shit, dude, what are you doing to me? Like, you're killing me here. This is awesome, right? So it's just so cool what you guys are doing.
Welcome. All I can say is welcome to my world, for real.
We may have lost Jeff.
And it's all like, I'm looking at it now that I've been a couple months in, I'm like, this was actually meant to be. Mm-hmm. Don't know how all this happened, but I feel really, really good about what's going on.
Well, I'm not a big believer in
John,
luck.
Just to give you a shout out, John, you make people feel wanted and welcome, and that's just badass.
I appreciate that, Doug. I mean,
that's where I was going with it.
That's true.
I was going with that same thing. It's not luck that you guys are together. It's like John had the vision because he's prepared enough to follow his dream, to open this label in the first place or whatever. You didn't even know it was a dream. You just fell into it. But it's not luck. It's like, you obviously had the belief and the conviction, and you had the contacts. You keep saying networking, and that's the most important part of this whole equation that we found whether it be music industry, film industry, whatever it is, the arts. You need to make connections. You need to not be an asshole, and you need to have belief and conviction in what you're doing. So to me, John and Doug, like I said, what you guys are doing is awesome. I think we lost Jeff. He fell off the face of Canada, I think, here, but it's okay because, I mean, it's his talent that you folks are going to be able to grow and capitalize on, and he'll profit from it. It's a beautiful thing to watch, guys. It really is. Thanks for letting us be part of it.
Yeah, this for me, one of my favorite things to do is, like I said, I have absolutely no experience in social media, nothing at all in the music industry. I'll just join a random group, and I will go in and just throw down RFL artists on a watch party, and we've gotten a lot of people to join our groups that way, and I'm like, wow, it's kind of a rush. Seeing people join the JCB Army, Fastlane Fanatic, Like, I'm like, that's how good this shit is. That's why I feel like everybody needs to hear it. That's why this is 24/7 for me.
Yeah, I get it.
Well, and I'll tell you, Doug, you sent me the invite to the watch party last weekend. I was sitting on my couch drinking my Canadian beer, watching Jeff. And I think that was Jeff. That was your last show, right before everything shut down. Is that correct?
Just gone, brother.
Is he gone? Okay.
Yeah, he fell off.
I can answer that for him because that same night was leap year. It was February 29th this year. He was opening for Jizzy Pearl at Vamp, and I missed. That was the first time since I've connected with him that I've missed a show. We were seeing Kiss in Laughlin that night, so we missed that show. A guy named Steven Duran, who I've got to give a shout out to, is the one that recorded that show that I sent you.
Yeah, and I mean, it was funny because what I noticed, I'm on there, and there's all these people that are weighing in, and I said to Dave, it's wild because I'm sitting there talking to people from all over the place. Like, I'm in Halifax, and there's people in California, but they're all just digging this dude that's playing, and I can't believe I never heard of him before. And I think the first thing you sent me, he was doing a version of "Got the Juice" by Kiss, and I'm like, okay. Two things. One, if you're going to do Kiss, you better do it good. But when you did it good, it was like, holy crap, this guy is great. And I mean, the band's just so tight. It's cool that you guys are signing this stuff. It really is.
We got some new stuff coming up too, guys. We got two new ones. We're working on a third. You guys will be among the first to hear it. Let's put it that way.
All right, that's fair.
Let me just say that one of the three, especially, I had never heard of before, and I'm like listening to them every morning on the way to work now, and I cannot wait till John's able to announce this. I'm like chomping at the bit because I'm like, I got to share this. I can't be the only one.
Well, I want to ask just one quick question because we should let you guys go too. I know it's probably been a long day for you folks too. So really right now, there's no hard product. There's not a vinyl record. There's not a CD that you're making anymore. We know that there's not a whole lot of money on Spotify and iTunes unless you get millions upon zillions of hits. So is it your intention to put these guys on the road? Is that what your intention is, to help them gather funds, what have you?
That's going to be that eventually, but actually it's much to what people think. The digital, even though it's it doesn't make a whole lot for the label and for the artist, but what it does do is it gets the music into the people's hands to buy the CDs and the vinyl and the merchandise. So that's really the way we market it. I mean, we market the digital. We want people to hear the stuff. I mean, we even give things away just to say, hey guys, just hear this, because fans, they take the CDs to the shows, they take the vinyl to the shows, and we always make sure that our guys are at the merch tables signing things, doing whatever they can, because it's really about the fans, and I think that's what the area that we really appreciate, because without them you don't have anything, and we try to do as much as we can, and we try to be good to the people. I mean, guys like you, I mean, I'm honored to be on your show. I'm happy to be talking to you. It's really cool to have guys that are fans, they're doing something like you, and we appreciate that. I mean, we're never gonna lose our roots. I mean, we don't, it doesn't matter how big this gets. We always want to, keep ourselves grounded and keep ourselves, understanding that this business, it's just like anything else, is about the people.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's always going to be, that's what we want to, bring across to everybody, to all the fans, all the bands, and all the people that do what you guys do and do what we do. It's a small family, but it's a close family too.
Well, and I'll tell you, John, one of the things that Doug and I have been talking about, and you a little bit, anybody that you guys have coming out that you feel we need to promote, we'll gladly do it. Anybody you feel that we need to talk to, we'll do it. Yeah. And we appreciate, we've just noticed that our traffic south of the border, I mean, this little show that started, I mean, I won't bore you with the details of what happened, but Nova Scotia's had some really bad shit happen over the last, 3 months. And Dave and I started kind of out of a way to help people get over that. But, this show's in 11 countries now. We've got people in 22 cities, and it's so cool to have, some folks south of the border. But not only that, people that like the same music that we do, and people that are, fostering and growing the type of music that we do. It's just so awesome. So anybody think we need to talk to, please connect us, and we'll gladly do it.
I appreciate that, Sean. I mean, we have like I said, we got some cool stuff coming up. You guys will be among the first to know, and it's not even just signings. It's a couple other things are in the works, and we're getting ready to announce. We've been working on it for the last few months, and we'll definitely get you guys involved. Trust me.
Well, that's awesome.
We like everything that you're doing there, and if we can help each other, we'll get you guys out on on our platforms as well. Because there's so much going on out there, and guys doing things like you do. Like I said, we appreciate it, and we'll take care of each other. That's the way we work.
Right on.
That'd be a lot, Jeff, because like I say, and it wasn't just because he was on there. Doug sent me his stuff, and I was just like, again, where do guys like? I shouldn't have been born in L.A. Even I would find a singer. Dave was a guitar player that turned into a bass player because you can never find singers or bass players, and so it's so it's so wicked that you guys are doing that. And I mean, Svengali, like I said, they were the band for Dave and I that really they did two things. One, when we saw them way back, and I think it was 1989 at a bar called the Crazy Horse in Dartmouth. It was like, holy shit, they're a good band, and holy crap, that's where the bar's set, and that's where we got to go if we want to do something. Yeah. So, really excited that after 55 years, they're going to be out there again for sure.
So it's one common denominator, guys, and unfortunately, Jeff fell out there with the internet connection. We're all super fans. I think that's like I can tell from talking to us all right now. Is that and that kind of motivates us to do everything that we do for the love of music and the entertainment and the arts in general and live performance, right? So as one fan to a bunch of other fans, thanks for doing what you do, because it's clearly making a difference for a guy like Jeff, and that's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And the last thing I'll say, Doug, is back to your buddy Ron Keel. He had a huge fan base out here back in the day. And I know we never got to come to the East Coast of Canada. But I'm going to look up that show that he's on, because where would shoot me a text where I can find that.
Just to make it easy, just go to www.ronkeel.com and click on radio show, and it shows all the stations that are affiliated. One of them is Pure Rock up in, I think it's Saskatchewan.
Oh, nice.
They're the one that kicks the show off every Monday at it's 6 p.m. John's time, which would be 7 your time.
Well, and here's the other thing, guys, that we could throw out there is that when Jeff's album comes out, because he was saying he's in the process of recording it. We'll see what we can do to get the word out here. Because it would fit right into the format of one of the rock stations out here for sure.
Awesome.
Or you can just fly us down for the premiere. That's okay. Well, get your freaking COVID numbers down first, and then we'll come down there and see what's going on.
Don't even get me started.
All right. I'm just kidding. All right, we're not going to go there.
I guarantee most people probably don't want to hear my opinion on COVID, but we'll leave it at that.
He said the C word. The C word.
Let me just say that I wish we had more people down here south of the border that do what you guys do. You guys kick out.
I agree. And wait till you guys hear the new Carlson album. You guys are going to love it. It's if you thought you heard some good stuff before, he's really bringing it this time. And the first single you guys are going to it's amazing. It's amazing.
Well, I mean, I fell in love with his voice within him, and I said to Doug and Jeff, I love the Paul Shortinos of the world, and I love the the Michael Sweets, and I love those growlers, and he definitely has that. I couldn't Paul Stanley. I was like, yeah, okay, I kind of get that. Not Paul Stanley now, mind you, but in the day, he's just I can't wait to hear. I think that's going to be. Here's the trade-off. You get us a copy of that album, we'll try to get Doug some real beer. I sent him a link there yesterday.
That really, just so you know, that really should be the Bible of Canadian beer right there. That was amazing.
You get that? So there's in our neighborhoods, they're really big on the craft beer. So all these little craft beers are popping up, and they've got a beer out here. It's called Dirty Blonde, and the motto is everybody loves a dirty blonde from Dartmouth, and it's caught on, and it's one of the best beers. We'll see if we can get you some of that, my friend.
That sounds awesome.
That's a fair exchange, I would think, Doug. Very fair exchange.
We thank you so much for being on Barstools and Bandtalk. It's kind of like good just cross marketing, and I love it because we want to hear more about RFL. Want to hear more about what Jeff Carlson's doing. We certainly want to hear more about what Svengali and Fear are doing too, and whoever else you need us to talk to. Like Sean said, we'd love to talk about it. There's a big rock fan core down here, like a group of folks who love that shit, and you know what? We want to be the folks who provide it for them. So.
Let me ask you guys one more question. So the border itself is closed again. Is that the case?
Yes.
I've been talking to Sean all week. I'm like, I got to get up there to Nova Scotia. I'm hooked. He sent me some pictures. I'm like, I got to check that place out.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's I tell you take it for granted. I mean, like here's how funny we are. So you guys, you're dropping all these names. About 3 years ago, Ben Affleck was spotted up in Cape Breton, and it made the newsreel in Nova Scotia for about 2 friggin' days. That's kind of where we are. We're a simple crew, but good-hearted people and what have you. So, again, to echo Dave's words, I mean, this is going to be great. I can't wait to keep working with you guys. And when we press stop, don't go away because we want to have a quick little off the record, off camera thing here. But really appreciate you guys. Great finally meeting you. Can't wait to meet Sam. My apologies. Give my apologies to Jeff because maybe we'll get Jeff on by himself and whatnot.
John, maybe we can talk Dior into joining them just to get that extra point of view there.
Well, you said he was the big metal guy, right? So one of the ones we're working on.
Extreme metal, yeah. He's
I've been torturing Rob Reiner from Anvil, and he hasn't bit yet. But I don't know if you guys know Anvil or not, but basically, yeah,
metal. I know them.
And no Anvil, no Metallica, and we'll just leave it at that, right? So
Anvil destroys Metallica. I will go on record as saying that.
All right.
Anvil's a good band, that's for sure.
Yes.
All right.
I remember the first time I saw them, it was, what's that song called? Was it Mad Dog?
Yeah.
It was on Headbangers Ball all the time. I'm like, those guys are cool.
Yeah.
That's it.
You can talk to Brian from Helix, another great Canadian metal band.
Well, you know what? He was awesome. He Dave, and I don't know how many interviews you see, but Dave and I've got a recurring thing, and it's just my thing at the end of it all is thank you for not being an asshole. So many folks we're talking to are people that Dave grew up listening to, and they're just so nice. Starting with Dave Wanless, starting with Darby Mills from the Headpins. We had Lee Aaron last night. I mean, just it's been great.
Gosh, from Brighton Rock, it's nice when your heroes aren't dicks, and that's Sean said that from the get-go. I laugh my head off, but it's true. It's so true because and it's not just because there's a global pandemic. These folks are humble. They get to that point where they want to teach and learn, as opposed to walk around with their arse in the air. Like no, they're real people, and it's been so super nice meeting them all. Just like it's been nice meeting you, but we got to run. So don't go off completely because we're just going to sign off the show. But thanks again to Doug, to John. Sorry, Jeff, we'll get you back on. So from Barstools, we'll say peace out.
RFL Records, kids.
RFL, really fucking loud.
That's it.